I've talked about the best perks and I've talked about the worst perks. I've talked about perks a lot recently. Why not, right? It's new, it's fresh. But today, I want to talk about perk sets. Basically, the combination of the perks that the characters have. Now, I'm going to be taking a different angle here. We're going to talk about the best sets of them and the worst sets of them, but I also want to throw in another wrench here, and I'm going to talk about what I think are the better designed sets of them, not just individual perks, and some of the ones that are a lot weaker. Now, what makes a good set of perks? Well, in my mind, it brings a lot of versatility, and of course, the individual perks themselves just need to be powerful, right? I mean, those are the best ones, right? Again, versatility is also really important because then you can kind of adapt your character to be used in the most situations. And then on the design standpoint, a good design of perks, I think, forces you to make interesting choices, right? So the perks themselves need to be interesting, kind of shake up what you're doing, or at least the choices that you have to make between those minor and major perks need to be some sort of like opportunity cost, a give and a take. There has to be some sort of active thought with it. And I think a bonus is when those perks kind of like play into each other. So you start making choices about whether you want to kind of continue to make synergies with each other, or you're just going to kind of full send and play to counter the enemy, anything like that. I think there's a lot that you can do there. There's no like one cut or dry rule that I think is well designed. I think there are different ways that you can do it, and we'll showcase those throughout this. Now, this is probably going to be a little bit long. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot to cover here. I did not finish my scripted video that I wanted to, so this is what you guys are going to get. Hopefully I can get that one done. If there's a patch, we'll show that on Wednesday. But without further ado, I'm going to stop looking at my monitor that keeps flashing at me, and hopefully my replacement gets in here soon. Let's go and talk about these here. We're going to be talking about basically, yeah, you're going to see this here. I'll move my camera so you can see everything. So we're going to start with D.Va, and unfortunately I'm not going to really be able to look at the camera because I have to use my second monitor, or else I will have a seizure looking at this one. So with D.Va, I think that her perks overall aren't fantastic. Bunny Stomp is really silly. It doesn't really work like it should, I don't think. Ejection suit is nice, but buffing baby D.Va isn't exactly something you want to be looking for. Converting shields or health to shields and then having defense matrix restore those shields, I think is really good. The only thing is that like only 25% of the shields maybe isn't like amazing, but then again, when are you going to be eating 600 damage worth in a defense matrix? So it really isn't that bad, and shields are just good for D.Va, I think, because she's one of those that needs a little bit help or like more resources. Do I think it's that relevant? Maybe not, but it's still nice to have. And then micro missile swap for heavy rockets, I said that this was one of the worst majors because it really doesn't do that much more damage. When you actually play with it, I think the burst damage does really help. I think it is nice, but overall, I find it to be a little lackluster. And of course, it reset the text. This is supposed to be at the top. We're gonna have good perks, right? Good. This is gonna be bad. These are gonna be well designed. And then, okay, I missed. Well designed. And then these are gonna be poorly designed over here. And then D.Va, I think we are going to put her perk power is definitely lower. I'll say kind of like in the middle here, on the poorly designed side. Now, in terms of how well they're designed, I do think it is a nice, interesting choice that the first one you have to do is making a choice around baby form. Like, you have to kind of choose like how you're going to augment it and choose the situation. Unfortunately, I think ejection suit is just like what you're going to take 90% of the time. I don't think bunny stomp is really relevant, and being able to get more bulk to actually get more attempts at a stomp is probably better than having a larger radius. I don't think that is actually going to matter. So it should be a good choice in theory, or at least it could be, and I don't think it really is. I think shield system, I think, is a much better, or sorry, the major perks in general are a much better choice. You know, raw damage and better burst, or do you want to have that survivability? I think that is actually much more relevant. Shield system isn't that good into certain comps, but you could get heavy rockets and do particularly well into like a Sim or a Zarya comp a lot better. So I think that one's fine. I think her perk set is not the best overall. I think we'll kind of like keep it somewhere around here. If I had to take a gamble. So okay, Doomfist here. Let's go ahead and drag him up. His perk set I think it's good. I think it's fine. Hitting an enemy with rocket punch reloads all hand cannon ammo. Now, I don't think that reloading perks are good. I think they're a little overrated just because, like, yes, you kind of upgrade your damage, like DPS overall capability, but with somebody like Doomfist, he's really trying to look for squishies more than he's trying to have sustained DPS pressure. Do I think that reloading your hand cannon is that good when you're trying to play like that? In my opinion, probably not. I don't think that's really what you're trying to do on Doomfist. And I don't think it's that good if you attempted to, like, shoot the tank a lot. Like, you took this to shoot tank. I wouldn't exactly want to do that. Survival of the fittest is really good. Just getting extra, or you get 25 overhealth from eliminations, and the max overhealth is increased by 15. I think that's really relevant. You don't have to get those eliminations, but you get the extra bulk out of it. That can be really, really good. That allows Doomfist to survive a lot. Mix that with, and we'll skip down to Power Matrix here, right? That is super, super survivability. And with Power Matrix, you get your punch back, or your empowered punch a little faster. You absorb a lot of damage, right? So you're not taking that damage when you get the punch. You have a lot more bulk overall. I think it is really, really good. I need to turn my overlay off so you guys can see that better. Anyways, I think that one is actually really, really good. So his survivability is really nice. I think his other perks are okay. I mean, Seismic Empowerment I think is really not worth it, especially with how easy you can get the Empowered Punch with Power Matrix. So Seismic Empowerment I don't think is one that you would want to run. That one seems pretty weak, but I think he has a couple of really good ones. I'm going to put him just slightly over on the good up here. Sorry. I think I messed up. Yeah, she needs to go here. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Doomfist has like a better set, I think, or at least like more powerful overall. However, I think the choices that you have to make, specifically with the major perks, one being just so much far and above the other one, and Seismic Empowerment, like, just really not, it's being way too hard to actually obtain. The Empowered Punch, when you could get the Empowered Punch so much easier with just Power Matrix. I would think that it's like always a no-brainer to take Power Matrix, even against comps that are like beam comps, you know, that wouldn't actually do much for it. You still get your Empowered Punch faster. So I would definitely say that. The other two, you know, I guess if Doom wants to go for like more DPS, he can. But getting more overhealth allows him to do more things. So I honestly don't think the perks themselves are that great. You know, this perk is pretty lame. This is pretty like passive value, survival of the fittest. The Power Matrix is the only one that's like kind of the saving grace, but I'm going to put him a little more over this way. I don't think his perks are that engaging overall. Hazard, I think Hazard is a really good example, finally, of one that I think is like legitimately has really good perks. So off the top, I think is really interesting into comps that are good against Hazard, like these Torbs and these Sims, you know, that are like these characters that have a lot more pressure on Hazard. He can actually deal it back, and he also gets really good damage into tanks, right? He used to have trouble, not really have trouble in the tank trade because his damage is so high. Now he has even more. It's super, super good to get people off of your backline. And then the other one, Reconstitution, that is really nice because that extra energy, I'm pretty sure, does not go away, and that is kind of crazy. So you can have these extremely long periods of sustain that can just be really insane. And every time you hit the spike guard, you get 25, and that's already like half a second on your block, and that's really, really nice. The lifesteal, obviously, I feel like I don't have to say. Lifesteal is really good, especially on a character that's going to be blocking and getting damage reduction. It's going to be a lot more relative health, so that's really nice. And then Deep Leap, further movement ability that is tied to his lethality, like this guy is going to be like completely flying forward. I think Hazard has an extremely good set of perks, like almost like super, like almost at the top. Like I think his perk set is really, really nice. There's a lot of situations where these are valuable. And I also want to say that he does have a pretty well-rounded design one. I think he has a lot of variety and he has a lot of decisions to make here. Does he want to go for, you know, a much more niche damage option, or does he want to go for more sustain? You can kind of synergize a lot of the things in his kit. So you could take the lifesteal and this one, so he has extra survivability, super hard, or you can take off the top. So if he's struggling into a poke comp or something, he can have a much better time getting in and pressuring them, right? That is something that is really nice. You could do Spike Guard with Reconstitute, or Deep Leap with Reconstitution, so you can go in further but kind of survive longer. There's a lot that you can do, and I actually really, really like his perk set. And, you know, I don't think anything is really like super free value. Lifesteal, this one is the one that I don't like a lot, but like Deep Leap, it's a movement ability. Like you can do a lot more with the movement ability going further. And Jagged Wall, you know, this one I think is really interesting because it kind of forces you to use it in a different way. Now, if I will say it doesn't like go away until you use it, and I think that's a bit of an issue. I would have loved to see it kind of like go away after a little bit, so you have to like be forced to actively use it a little more. Maybe there's some time that it goes away, but it feels like a really long time. And yeah, I don't know. I like it, and I think overall his are pretty good. We'll keep him like right off the middle there. I think that's a good spot for him. Junker Queen has what feels like a pretty underwhelming perk set. Recalling Jagged Blade from a struck target refreshes its wound is fine. It's just a duration extender, and it could be okay when you're like, you pull someone early. Like basically the thing is that like you have to choose whether you want to like hold the knife in them. But at that point, is that worth it, right? Like, I honestly don't think this really does that much. Like, I think honestly, they wanted something like you want to hold the knife in them as long as possible. You would want to increase the damage that it could do, because that way it's like, oh, either I pull them out of position and try and get a good kill, or I'm not actually gonna be able to pull them, but at least I'll have some extra like oomph on it. I don't know. I don't think it's great. Battle Shout, reloading Scattergun I think is really good because it has a lot of ammo. When you can reload a gun that has a lot of ammo, you just get better like uptime overall. And Queen has, you know, a pretty nice gun, and it increases your ally reload speed, which can be like super relevant, especially when you guys are like super in the fight. I think that is a nice one. Deep Wounds, I don't know about Deep Wounds. I think most people don't take this one. I can't imagine this being that great. Again, I don't think duration extenders are amazing because it doesn't actually increase the potency. And Queen's game plan is always going to be refreshing wounds no matter what is happening. She already has a button that allows her to refresh her wound really quickly if she gets a big lifesteal, like a Carnage rather. I don't find this to be that good, I don't think. Carnage impact damage deals 100% lifesteal. Now that one is crazy. That one is actually insane. Like out of all of them, like that one is like really, really good. I think overall, I'm going to put her like here. They're fine perks and it's really saved by Savage Satiation. How well designed they are. I mean, Branding Recall, I don't think does what they want it to do. I think Battle Shout is a little uninteresting, right? It's kind of whatever. Deep Wounds could be a fun mini game, but I just don't think it really does enough. Like, I don't think it's really worth it to try and play with that. And then the Carnage impact damage, front-loading Carnage, I think is probably not a great idea. And in terms of like trying to choose between them, you're basically choosing between like burst value and like sustained value. And I think 9 times out of 10, the burst value is just always better the way that they are made here. So I think you only choose like 2 of the perks. I'm going to go ahead and say, like, I think Queen's got like she's got an underwhelming set, I would say. Oh boy, Mauga. So the video I almost made today was a Mauga analysis of OWCS, but I didn't feel like I kind of understood enough, so I decided to postpone that. Maybe you'll see that later. Mauga's got a good set. Overrun reloads, well, he's got very, very good perks. Okay, so Overrun reloads up to 150 ammo charging. I don't think this is really worth it. If you're doing a super long charge, then you probably already reloaded your gun. if you're not doing a super long charge, then you're not going to get much ammo out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you would really ever want to take this, especially over 2 hearts, which is just super free sustain value for Mauga. Actually crazy. It works on any point. I cannot believe this is a minor perk. Firewalker Overrun ignites enemies hit. I actually do really like this. It gets that extra damage. Kind of like you're getting more reward out of your risky play, but then also you kind of get your sustain back quicker. I think this is a better way to give Mauga more sustain, unlike Combat Fuel, which it's very, very easy just to get 100 before you pop Cardiac, because you shoot somebody, you just ignite them, get a bunch of bullets in them, and then by the time you ignite Cardiac, you're gonna be like, you know, lower health, so you just pop the over health, you burn through the over. I feel like it's a lot more linear than it's supposed to be, but it's very, very good. So like, Mauga really does have a nice set of pretty powerful ones. Are they well designed though? 2 hearts is really interesting. I like this idea. I really think that a lot of these, I don't know. I'm not gonna like totally say no, because I do think Firewalker is cool. But yeah, I find that it's just far too easy to get the value out of the double sustain. And I think that there just isn't like that much of an interesting choice. Basically, you're choosing again between like sustain or burst, but again, the sustain is just always better, for Mauga's case, than the burst. The way that they put it together. So I don't know. It's not great. Also, exact placement on the board here. Please don't get super like up in arms about it. I couldn't really tell you, right? It's there. I'm going to probably be swapping some things around a little bit, but I'm going to be going with my gut for most of it. Orisa here. Let's see what we got. Heat Dissipator. Primary fire, critical hits, refund heat. Now, I think that can be really good. I don't know if we've really seen it be used yet, but that's just one of the reasons why Orisa was so lethal and so good in that Orisa meta that we just had recently, was because she was so lethal. And they kind of had to remove that, the what's it called? The buildup of her, or the reduced buildup of heat during Fortify, because she was so lethal in Fortify. This is a way to give her that back, but it's much more skillful. I actually think I really, really like this. Now, against the tank, I think it might be far too easy to get it back, but in theory, I think that's really cool. The other one just gives her extra 100 over health when active. That just makes, it's just better Fortify. It's like Fortify with more to it. I think it's good. I think it's really good, but it's lame. Charge Javelin is the fakest ability ever. I thought it did more damage. It literally just pierces, and it does more knockback. It feels really bad. It does not feel very good to me. I don't know how good this one is. The thing is that, like, I think Orisa actually has really good minor perks, but her major perks are a little underwhelming. Now, Protective Barrier is good, but you are completely changing your game plan with Orisa when you do it. And I don't know. I think Orisa's the way you play new Orisa is you want to be fortifying and aggressive, and like that's where the lethality comes from. But Protective Barrier is kind of anti that, and I don't think she can do it as effectively. So I would say it's honestly not great. So really, I think Orisa will stay kind of in the middle about how good her perks are. I like Heat Dissipator. I like that Protective Barrier changes up her game plan a lot. And I like the idea behind Javelin Spin. Like, I think this is like a pretty interesting set of perks. And I'm going to put it a little more towards this way. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think they're great, and it's kind of hard to really put my finger on how well these work together. I think you do make interesting choices, and I think that's like what we really need to see. So actually, I think Ori's perks are decently well designed. They're just really underwhelming, and that kind of comes with their power, right? So like saying like something is well designed, I think it like doesn't tell the full story. That's kind of like I like this grid, you know, kind of like trying to show like, you know, these characters up here I think are the ones that are like on this side it's like the best, but like up here I think is where you're kind of like really figuring out what makes a good set, right? Now Ramattra I think has probably one of the best in the game. Void Surge, you have like extra DPS to focus pressure on like sustain characters. And, you know, you still have to aim it, and it kind of comes and goes, so it's, like, not as consistent. It's just kind of, like, extra damage. I think it's really interesting. It's kind of strange. And then Prolonged Barrier, again, that's, like, you know, it's just better sustained. It's better, like, mark people. I think it actually just makes Barrier better. I think this shield is one of the worst in the game, just because it's so... It's because it comes up so, like, not very often. And it's not up for very long, and increasing its like duration, I think, is really, really good. And it lets you do more stuff. Block off angles for longer. It increases your uptime in general. You can fight frontline trades better. Then you go to his other ones, and he's just got like these insanely powerful, super good sustain with Nanite Repair, or you get this extra super good bonus damage, which I kind of underrated initially. But it is really, really good to get Ramattra to go in there and just like completely destroy somebody. I think that he has like almost like a super like power wise, like the best in the game. Like, I don't know if I'm going to put him all the way up there. In terms of how interesting I think they are, you actually do have to make a couple of strange choices, right? Do I want to increase my DPS, or do I want to kind of like play around my barrier? I think that actually Prolonged Barrier, you have a lot more of like interesting choices you make with the barrier. I don't think it's just increasing or like doing what it does better. I think it actually opens up the ability to use your shield in better ways and more ways that are going to be more effective. So I think it's good. I think Void Surge is the one that's actually just like kind of like a tank shredder in some regards. Nanite Repair is pretty interesting. Because it is a small radius, but since Ramattra is hard to kind of like break or stop, like I think it plays into itself really well. You just kind of throw the grenade and run into the grenade and fight them while they're slowed. And the Vengeful Vortex is just so fun to use, and it's just like an interesting, like, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's good. I think he's got a nice, well designed thing. Also, having a choice, I'm gonna put him up here a little more. Having a choice between like two really interesting things on the same ability, I think is really good. Like, honestly, like having choices between, like, you know, it's opportunity cost, right? Do I want to have more sustain on this, or do I want to have that more burst damage? Like, what is going to be more valuable in this situation? And then on top of that, you have to play around both of these, which is really, really fun, really interesting. I think they did a good job with Ramatra's, at least his major perks as well. So good on there. Reinhardt is while using your barrier, your passive health regeneration triggers 50% sooner. I've been saying that I don't know how good this actually is. Yeah, I'm sure you can use this, obviously, but I don't know. It feels a little fake to me. I'm not exactly sure if this is really going to be useful. You want to be swinging, you want to be doing stuff. Yes, it means you have less time in your shield, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine. And then Barrier Field is healed for 100% of Fire Strike's damage dealt. This just feels off. Like something is weird here. When you're Fire Striking from afar, where you'll need your shield, you're going to hit less people with Fire Strike, so you get less value out of it. Or if you're up close when you don't need your shield nearly as much, you're going to be hitting more people with Fire Strike and you're getting your shield back. It feels a little like backwards to me. So I don't think it's great. I think you should probably take the Crusader's Resolve. And then the other one, while Barrier Field is active, using secondary fire to damage and knock back enemies. Now this is actually like, you know, nice damage while you're like defending yourself. I think it'd actually be pretty decent. It's not great, but it's decent. And then Charge grants temporary overhealth for 50% of damage dealt. I just don't think it's like super high risk, high reward. Is it high reward though? Like if you hit a pin, like if you actually pin somebody, yes. But like, I don't know. I feel like that's not going to happen as often as you think it's supposed to. And then like the actual best case scenario, I think, is like you hit a couple people, like just knocking them back. But then that doesn't give you that much health. So I don't know. I think Shield Slam is just the better, like more consistent option. Overall, his perks are not great. I don't think. Honestly, I don't know if they're that as bad as Diva's. But like, yeah, I don't think they're amazing. Are they interesting though? You've got two that are about your shield, which is like a cool choice you have to make. Although I just don't think Fiery Uptake really makes a lot of sense in my brain. And then Shield Slam is fun. And the Crushing Victory, and you know, I'll give him a little bit. I think they're fine, but I don't think they're great. I'll put them like right offset the middle. I don't think they're like a bad set like to play like with and like choose around. I just don't think they're very good, which is you know, kind of the issue. Roadhog, holy, we are 24 minutes in, and I am still on the tanks. We're gonna be here forever. Pack a lunch, get a snack, whatever. Okay. Next we have Roadhog. Chain hook, hits, reload, 2 ammo. This is really underwhelming. What, he's got like 5 or 6 shots in his gun, he only gets 2 back, and you have to use an ability, and you have to hit it, but it's like ability specific. Like you have to be successful with it. It's not like shout where you just activate it and get it, and you get a full clip. This doesn't seem great to me. Like, yes, it's increased damage, but like Hog does so much damage anyways that like hitting 1 or 2 shots and then hooking and then getting a shot will kill anyways. So why do you need these extra bullets? Like it doesn't seem as useful to me, on top of Pigpen. Pigpen's throw range is increased by 50%. I don't know why people think these are super bad. I think they're interesting. Like, they're cool, but like, how could this be that bad? I feel like just being able to be more versatile with Pigpen throw, like you can really catch people off guard. You know, yeah, I think there's an argument to be made that the Junkrat one isn't as good, but like Pigpen isn't AoE slow. Like that is definitely good. It's like mini Ramattra grenade in some regards, and being able to throw it further is definitely good. Like, I do think that is pretty nice. Take a breather, rapidly increasing Hog's movement speed. That is good. How good is it though? Is it really? I guess like Hog has damage reduction when he does it, so he can get places and he has to give up. I think it's an interesting idea. I haven't seen too many Hogs, but you know, they can get out of the way of some interesting, or like some things that would like really hurt them. So it is useful. And then Hog expose, or what is that? Hydrogen? Like hydrogen? Okay, whatever. Take a breather also heals nearby allies for 50% of its healing. You shouldn't take that. I don't think anyone should be playing with Hog. You know what I mean? Regardless if he gives his team like 50% of his healing, like why would you stack on an angle with Hog? I feel like that is just not how you should do it. You should not be playing on the front line with Hog. I don't like this one. I don't think it's very good. It's kind of backwards to how a Hog should play, and it doesn't really open up a nice, interesting. Like if you play like this, I think you're just trolling. Like I don't think it actually opens up a new way to play Hog. So overall, his are, they're not amazing either. And then how well designed I think they are. I think most of these, honestly, like I might keep them right here in the middle. I think they do open up a lot of new ways to play, in theory. Pigpen range increases a lot of extra ways you could use it. Take a breather allows you to get around more, but then you're kind of giving up something. You're giving up your resource to get around. That could be interesting. Take a breather also hears about allies. I mean, it is a playstyle change. I will pop him just a little to the right, I think. But they're bad. Like, they're not very good perks overall. So he's kind of like with that Reinhardt spot. Sigma. I've been on record thinking I think Sigma has top 5 perk sets in the game. 1, Kinetic Cycle is maybe one of the, if not the best minor perk in the game, behind Juno's Familiar Vitals, I think. Just getting your rock back fast, and it's fast, is really, really important. It increases his utility and lethality. Overall, he's a much scarier force when he takes Kinetic Cycle. It's just so good. Massive Impact I don't think is as good, but honestly, being able to get 3 seconds of knockdown is crazy, especially on longer range maps with sight lines that are super long with snipers. I do think that actually has like some merit to it. Hyper Strike is actually really good. I've been able to use this one recently where it's like you're just like being able to knock people into corners like on Sigma, or like knocking a tank away, just getting more space, you know. It's really cool. Like honestly, like I'll be struggling to like hit a backliner against a tank, and then I'll just kind of like go to the side and punch them over to give me like a clear clear view of them. It's actually really, really good, I think. Levitation, activate and hold double jump to briefly levitate upwards. Very map specific, but also very, very cool, very interesting. It allows Sigma to play so many ways. I think Sigma is like a super like all the way up here. And honestly, I'm gonna drag him into the corner. I think he has like one of the best like design sets, because the first one you have to make a really interesting choice about how you're gonna upgrade your rock, right? You either get like better like duration, extension on the knockback, or you just get it more often, which can be good. They both change how you play and how you use the rock, which is great. The other one, they're more niche options, but like they both have their merits depending on like where you are and what you're fighting. You have to kind of make an educated choice around them. And again, they both change your play style drastically. Sigma has maybe my favorite set of perks in the entire game. Bravo to them. I think this set is incredible for him. So Winston, next. Tesla Cannon deals 30% more damage to deployable objects. That includes barriers. I don't know if that's a bug, but it includes barriers like Sigma Shield, Reinhardt Shield, whatever. So that is something to keep in mind. It does matter there. Winston Bubble as well. During primal range, jump packs damage and area increase by up to 75% while airborne. I actually don't think this is like... This doesn't really change how you play Winston. I still think primal juggling is just much better, and you're getting extra damage. Even if you aren't like maximizing the damage, you're still getting extra damage, and it's easier to like do primal juggles and get kills. It's just better. Like it just makes your primal like so much better, so much more consistent. I don't think it's that much interesting. You don't really do that much extra. Chain Lightning, fully charged secondary fire hits, bounce up to 2 additional targets. I am not a big fan of like bouncing abilities design wise, but this is strength. He can build his ult a lot faster. He can just, I don't know. I don't know if Winston's are really taking this. I can see the merit behind it, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to just take extra survivability in your bubble. 30 health per second while you're in your bubble, I think is really, really nice. And it allows you to play a little more aggressively. You don't always have to be full health before you take an engage if you have your bubble. You never really did, TBH, but like this is giving you more for it. Especially like, you know, on your second bubble mid-fight, that could be really nice, where it could be like a really nice tide turner. Are Winston's good? I think they definitely are. They're not the best ever, but I think they are decent. But I just don't think they're very interesting. Like most of them, like the short circuit doesn't really change how you play. Heavy landing definitely doesn't change how you play. Chain Lightning, honestly, not even really. Like, none of them really change how you play. They aren't interesting choices. Again, like, deployable objects, it's just too niche to even matter. This one is a little different, but I don't know. I don't think any of them really change how you play anything. Honestly, like, I don't like his perks overall. Like, I don't think they're really fun to use, unlike some of them. Speaking of, Wrecking Ball has another incredible set, I think. Steamroller deals 100% more damage to tanks. I think I saw, and I didn't really watch the video, so I don't know his what's it called? His reasoning. Flat said this one is like one of the worst in the game. Nah, this is like Steamroller dealing 100% more to tanks. Like, that is legit. Like, I do think that is legit, depending on the comp, obviously. But like, Ball struggles to like get people like to peel and get people off his backline, and they wanted like, you know, the temporary adaptive shield to like be the reason to peel, but being able to do 100% damage to tanks, or 100% more rather, that is a way to peel, because you're doing like super pressure, and Ball can like get in and out and go back to what he was doing. Like I don't know, I actually do think this is really nice. I think it actually is really good in certain scenarios depending on what comp you're playing against. Pack Rat is insane value, especially for minis. You get 175 from mini and 350 from a mega. That is crazy. Remember that Ball also has shields and things, so like he's gonna be getting back to the fight and full health super quick. I think they need to nerf this one. I actually think this one is really, really good. For his major perks are fun. Or at least hang time is. That one, Pile Driver winds up for longer, but you get a lot more air control. So I think you can use this to kind of play around things more, but two, it kind of like makes a lot of these pile drivers, like, I don't know, you can use them in a lot more situations. Like, it opens up a lot more opportunities for you to use pile driver. And yes, you're like more vulnerable technically in the air, but you can move around and kind of play around that stuff, and you just do like an insane amount more damage on the slam. It's super, super good. Transfer efficiency, I think, is also pretty cool. Because you can use your, you know, this is your sustainability option, right? Your burst or your sustain option. And I think this one is actually like legitimately nice. One, it actually increases the amount you give your allies, which is crazy, and I think that's a little too much maybe. But decreasing its cooldown allows you to use your shields more often and to let you hit more often which can be really interesting. And you can kind of cycle it into each other. So if you're in the right situation, you set it up properly, you can kind of continue and continue and continue, which is really, really, really good. I feel like I don't have to tell you that. So overall, Wrecking Ball, his perks are very, very good. I'm going to put them slightly under, but like Sigma, but like all the way at the top. Are they nice and well designed? Well, I think that you do have to give up a lot when you take when you do between Steamroller and Pack Rat. Those aren't like as game shaking, but they can be. Like, I think Pack Rat is a little like easy value, but I think Steamroller does kind of change your game plan a little bit. Hang Time is the one that feels really fun, really interesting to use. I think it's a really awesome like pick. And Transfer Energy, again, it kind of changes how you play, and it wants you to play more for your team, and you're like rewarded for doing so, and I think that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, I think he's got like a nice, I think he's decently well designed, but he definitely has like one of the strongest like sets in the game if I had to guess. Zar, let me see here. Zar's got the jump ups one, which allows her to do super rocket jumps, which I think is really good, especially for maps that Zar isn't as good on. And then Graviton Crush, which deals 30% of enemies max health as damage over time. Dude, this one it makes Grav so good. I'm like, dude, Grav is already a really good ult. It has a super far radius. And then they're doing 30% of your max health on the damage over time. Like, what are we talking about, man? This one is really, really good, I think. Like, it actually just makes Grav like almost like guaranteed team wipe, or whoever you get in it is just guaranteed dead. Energy Lance, I think, is specific, but it can be really interesting trying to, like, try and do lineups and stuff. I don't think it just plays itself as much as people think it does. And then Spotter, I think this one is really good. Just increasing your ally movement speed by 15% allows them to do a lot more, get you a lot of charge, get you on deeper flanks, really increase your game plan a lot. I think it's nice. I think Zaryas are good. I think Zarya is a pub stomper. I've seen a lot of Zarya in ranked, and I hate playing against this character. But she is a bit of a pub stomper, and just having this super easy value that you can give with this like piercing beam and the graviton doing extra damage, right? I think is allowing her to feel good. I think that her perks are good, but I like jump ups. I think that one's fun. The rest of them, I don't know. I'm going to keep her, I think, on this side a little bit because I think Spotter is really interesting and good for teams. But the others, I think, are just really easy value to an extent, like I said. But I think she has a good set, I think, for balance. Not balance. Power-wise. Okay, finally. Holy tanks. Ashe. Where is she? Who are you? Ashe. Unscoped shots gain 30% increased attack speed, but deal 15% less damage. I understand that her DPS is going up this way, but like, why? Is this really really doing much? You know what I mean? It's just some extra like trash damage. Honestly, does it? Because it kind of like make her like scope and then unscope follow up like worse. I would bet. Like, I don't know how this one. I don't think this one is great. And then Coach Gun pushes Ashe and enemies further. That one is nice. Although a lot of times it can feel like Ashe just goes like way too high in the air or like way too far back if you're trying to like minimize that. Like sometimes it can feel like a debuff in a lot of regards. So I don't think these are great minor perks. Viper Sting is really good because you get not only do you get the ammo back, but you get the extra damage when you hit the scope shots consecutively, which is really nice. It does force you to be scoped, but Ashe's scope is not nearly as detrimental as somebody like Widow's and Ana's if you're like scoped in. So this is really, really good. Airburst, I think, also is pretty good, just increasing that detonation radius, and I guess getting your ammo back is fine. I say it's really good. It's fine. I think Ashe's perks are like, honestly, overall maybe down here, like right under the line. They're not like amazing, but I think Viper Sting really like brings them back. As well as like how well designed they are. I don't think Rapid Fire changes your game plan very much. Sidewinder, the Coach Gun, it really doesn't either. It is a movement ability, but Ashe doesn't use movement abilities like that, in my opinion. Like, yes, I guess she could go on like deeper angles, sure, but I don't think it's like that interesting overall. Viper's Sting is just extra damage for doing what Ashe already does. I don't quite agree. I don't think it should exist like that. I don't think you just get extra damage for hitting shots. You're hitting your shots, or you're doing plenty of damage. So I don't understand. And then Air Burst, I think, is fine on paper. Increased detonation for doing the skill shot, although I don't think the skill shot is actually, like, you know, it's pretty consistent to hit. Is it really that much of a skill? I'm not sure. I don't like her perks that much. And then, like, trying to pick between them, it's like you're probably always going to pick Sidewinder, and you're probably always going to pick Viper Sting. I don't see many situations where you take the other ones as well. I think, honestly, she's just got one of the, like, the most, yeah, I don't know. I really don't like her set. I don't think they really changed how she plays. It's a lot of passive value. I don't know. It doesn't feel correct to me. All right, Bastion. Bastion is decent. I think his are good. Knockback increased and no longer damages you. That's really good for Bastion's survivability. Yes, his mobility, sure, whatever. But his survivability, he can get in there and, like, play aggressive with his turret form and then bomb himself out, which I think is really, really important for Bastion, because he requires a lot of resources, and removing as many resources as possible from the outside, I think is really important. Configuration artillery grants 300 temporary overhealth. He can use this in so many other situations. He doesn't have to go hide. He doesn't have to do any of that. He can play more aggressive and then go for, like, super fast fire because he's, like, really close to them already. I think it actually is really interesting, because then if you play more aggressive, you do have to consider that you still could get burned through your armor, although you are getting damage reduction, I'm pretty sure, from Ironclad. So I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I think it can be nice. Lindholm Explosives completely changes how he feels. And he's less of a tank shredder and more of, like, a really nice burst damage to squishies. So he has a little different in his gameplay. I don't know how good it is. I think when you pick Bastion, you probably want that really good, like, what's it called? That moment of, like, oh god, I need to be careful. You know, that's kind of like how his cycle works. Not sure if this is, like, really good per se, but self-repair, I thought self-repair was fake. I played against it a little bit. There were some situations where, like, my character legitimately just could not kill him. Like, literally, no matter what I did, he just healed it off. No matter how good I could be on certain characters, it was actually kind of insane. Yes, it needs resource. It will be getting resource. It will be nerfed. But as of right now, it is not nerfed. So, Bastion's set, I think, is pretty good. I don't think any of these are, like, that bad. I'm going to say it's probably pretty good. And overall, I think I like it. The grenade is great. The Lindholm Explosives makes him feel really fun. It's, like, a really interesting way to play it. Self-repair, it's a little passive that, you know, it's going to get fixed later. It's good. I like Bastion's set, I think, for the most part. Cassidy has some weird ones. Oh, he's right next. Cassidy, quick draw. Fan the hammer shots are individually controlled and can crit for 50% more damage. I don't understand why you would want this one. Like, yes, it's, like, faster. It's almost like Storm Arrow to an extent, where you just get, like, less damage, faster shots. But, like, does Cass really need that? I feel like Fan the Hammer, and isn't, like, it's not accurate still. It's still just, like, rando. Like, it's got, like, super big spread, I'm pretty sure. Like, what is the point of this one? It feels really awkward. I don't find it to be very fun. Doesn't seem great. Past noon, high noon, or Deadeye refunds 30% ultimate charge if it fully expires. I think this is good on paper, but, like, only 30% isn't super good. Like, it's fine. But it's still, like, you have to wait, like, a fight or two to get your ult back. Like, you don't get, like, crazy, what's it called? Like, you don't get, like, crazy value from holding it that much. And, you know, you have to be, you know, you have to hold it the entire time. And if you cancel it beforehand, you know, like, because you get pressured or something, you do have to, like, you do not get it back. So you could get the majority of your zoning and almost get your thing back and then completely lose it. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's that consistent, and I think it's not as good as it sounds. Like, it sounds like it should be good. Gunslinging critical hits with primary fire reduce the cooldown combat roll by 3 seconds. I thought this would be a lot better than I think it actually is. I think Cass is just underpowered. I think it is really good still. It increases his, not only his DPS, but also, remember, it's his sustain. His roll has damage reduction on it, and it is a little bit of movement too. But, like, he could just, like, double dink a tank, roll, roll, double dink a tank, roll again instantly, do it again, roll again. You know what I mean? Like, there are worlds where Cass could just kind of go into like an infinite loop, but even if you only hit one, I think that is really significant. So I do think that this one is really, really good. Cassidy throws a second flashbang that travels further, but both flashbangs deal 30% reduced damage. I don't understand this one. I guess I probably should have tested this one before I did this video. So basically, he just throws 2 flashbangs. One goes the regular distance, one goes a little further, but they do less damage overall. What's the point? Why does he need 2? Why can't he just get 1 and, like, you know what I mean? I guess it like covers more area with Hinder. I don't know. This one isn't even that good. Like, obviously it doesn't stack. Maybe the damage stacks, but like it does 30% less damage, so it's not even that much more overall. Doesn't really seem great. Like, honestly, overall, when I look at his perks, I think they're not great. And are they well designed? Well, quick draw feels really awful. Pass Noon I don't think works like they want it to. The gunslinging is fun, but it's a bit insane. And then Bang Bang is just weird. Like, I don't know. I don't think Casses are great overall. Echo has some nice ones, I think. Nothing like too crazy. Duplicate can also target allies. This is really nice for like trying to formulate a plan with your duplicate, because you're kind of guaranteeing yourself will always have the right dupe target and a good one, and you're kind of guaranteeing that value. Enhanced duplication I think could be really nice in certain situations, so that's like a good choice you have to make between those two, because they're both related to dupe. I think full salvo is really, really good, because if you hit all the stickies, you just get a bunch more damage, right? I think Echo, this is one of the ones that's like more projectiles, but 15% that I think is actually really good just by the nature of stickies and how Echo works. It doesn't really like, it basically like, you just get more damage. If you were going to hit all the stickies beforehand, you're going to hit all the stickies now. And you just get like less, like, what's it called? You get less value out of just like spamming it down a corridor, because you're going to hit less of them, you're going to do less damage overall. So you get more reward for like actually assassinating and getting in there. I think that one's nice, and it's good, right? You get a lot of good damage. And that's going to be really good against like tank trades. And I think like some teams have started playing Mauga or Echo into Mauga again, because she gets a lot of damage from the stickies. And then high beams, focusing beam, eliminations, reset, flight school. And again, you get to be more aggressive. You can go for like super risky ones and come back. That could be really nice. I think her perk set is good. I think it's good. I'll put it up here a little bit. I really do like that you have to choose between the value between your duplicates, like which one you want to go for. That's a really interesting choice. And then also, again, these are kind of like, how do you want to assassinate? Do you want to assassinate, like, do you want to play the risky, like, in and out? Or do you want to just, like, go for more, I'm going to be in the backline more, but the longer I'm in, the more that I get? I don't know. I think I like hers. They don't really change her game plan too much, so I'm not going to put her all the way up there, but I think that she's got, like, she's an example of an interesting, like, choices, right? Maybe not the most interesting perks, but you have to make really interesting choices when you play Echo. So I like her set overall. Genji. Genji has a pretty underwhelming set. Swift Strike resets double jump. I've talked about this one. I think it's really not great. I think it's really underpowered. Not incredible. You guys can't see Cass. Let me go ahead and just give me out of here. I'll put myself here. Not incredible overall. Dragon's Thirst, Dragon Blade Swing Steal, 30% life steal. You should definitely be taking that one. I think it allows Dragon Blade to function without needing other people, I think. Blade Twisting, Swift Strike deals 25% additional damage over time and used shortly after elimination. This can be really, really good, I think. Just being able to continue and continue and continue, that is really, really nice, especially if your team is helping you get those kills. You're just going to be doing so much extra damage. Meditation, regenerate 25 health per second when deflect is active. You need to wait the whole time to get it. Like, I think it is good. 25 health is not like nothing, but I actually do think Blade Twisting is probably going to be the better one in a lot of situations, especially if you're playing with a team. So I do think he's got, like, overall his power of them is fine. I think it's decent, but the design, I think Acrobatics is nothing. Dragon's Thirst is just extra value of Blade. I don't think it really changes how you use it. Blade Twisting is really snowbally. I'm like really concerned about that one. I don't think it's a great idea for it. And then Meditation, I don't know. It feels like free value when you're deflecting. I don't like them. I don't think they're a great set overall. Design wise. Hanzo has some weird ones. So Sonic Arrow hacks nearby health packs for 12 seconds. That, honestly, like, I think it's really interesting. There's a couple of points where that's really, really relevant. I think, like, the Mega under Route 66. A lot of the Megas on Route 66 as well. I'm thinking, like, you know, oh god, I'm trying to think. There's Megas that are close to points. Those kind of, anything that's like close to points or close to where a flanker, like honestly, Hanzo could help a flanker by hacking a health pack. Like that actually could be like really useful, because then he also gets to see where the thing that they're dueling is. I think that is real. Like that actually is nice. I think we haven't really seen this one properly utilized all that much, because Scatter Arrow is just pretty easy value. You get extra damage on the ricochet. You shoot it at tanks, you know, it's better. Storm Arrow. So I do think Scatter Arrow is better, but I do think there's a nice, like, I think they're both like decent. They're okay. I don't know if they're great overall. Dragon's Fury gets attack speed for 1 second after hitting an enemy. I still don't understand. I've played with Hanzo. I can't feel this one. Does he pull his bow back? Does he fire the arrow faster? It doesn't make any sense now that I've said it out loud. Like, I don't quite understand, but like attack speed is good, obviously. I mean, it's attack speed. And then wall climb accelerates your lunge cooldown by 250%. If Hanzo could still hold his charge after a wall run, this would be insane. He can't, and since that is the case, I really don't think this is worth it. Like, I actually don't think this is great, because he's not really a threat when he's mobile. He should be, based on like how his kit works, but like he really isn't in this current state. So like I don't think this is great. I don't think his perks are amazing. Like I think they're whatever, kind of down here. I like Sonic Disruption, and I like Scatter Arrow, and the fact that you get to play a little differently. You get to make some interesting choices when you're using them. I think Dragon's Fury is really easy value that I'm not super happy with. And then wall climb is cool in theory, but in practice I don't think it. I'm gonna keep him in the middle. I think he's like not. I think his minors are good, but his majors are really underwhelming. Junkrat. Junkrat here has steel traps throw range is increased by 50%, which is like, you do have to worry about this if you're fighting a Junkrat, because you can't like back away from him or you'll get trapped. Like this does have merit. Like I think this does have value that a lot of people don't quite see. Or you can throw a trap to just like the fact that like you can throw a trap into a place that somebody thought it could never be and then get trapped. Like that does matter. Maybe over time we'll get used to it, but like right now I do think that there is some merit to it. Nitro Boost I think is one of the best perks in the game. I've talked about it in that one video that I did about the best perks, but basically just being able to make tires so much more chaotic and also still keep the one shot on a majority of the cast is really, really, really good. And you can still do a lot of chunks to damage to the people that it doesn't one shot. So I still think it's really worth it. You should just take that one, in my opinion. Frag Cannon is weird. Like the thing about Junkrat perks is that these like change how he plays. At least Frag Cannon does, because it's gonna mess with his muscle memory and decrease his ammo. It might make him feel better, might make him feel more consistent. But you have to wait all the way to level 3 to get there, and then you have to change how you play. And then at the round swap, then you have to like readjust. It's good. It's weird though. And then TikTok, I think, is actually like, I think TikTok, I don't know how good it is. When you actually like let it go, like it is insane. But how often are people actually going to get hit by it? Because it has to land and then arm. So I don't think it's super relevant. You might just want to like let it like hit people as they go through chokes and stuff. I don't know. It could be good, but I don't think how great it is. I'm going to say like his perk set is, I mean, it's fine. Like I think it's okay. But how well designed are they? I like Nitro Boost, and I like TikTok in theory because it doesn't actually change how you play. Like it doesn't mess up the character because you can still do regular concussion mine stuff. You don't have to arm it. And I don't know. I don't like Frag Cannon because it just like, I don't know. I just don't like Junkrat. So I'll probably abstain from saying how well designed they are. I'm going to cop out just a little bit. I think it's fine. I'll put them right in the middle there. May here. Primary fire's range is increased by 30%, which is really, which is really good because remember it pierces, so you just get to hit more people. Icefall's duration and cooldown are increased by 2%. I thought this wasn't that great. I think I see a world where it can be, but since you can break them still, I still don't think it's like amazing. They're fine. Like, there's definitely merit to it, especially if you're like walling off an angle of one person who's gonna have trouble breaking the wall. You'll have more value out of it. So it has its merits, and it's not a bad thing to have. Well, then again, it increases your cooldown. I don't know. Biting Cold, secondary fire hits slow enemy by 15%. I mean, that's just the tank destroyer. Like, it's just so easy to just completely slow the tank and like make their life miserable. And then Cryo Freeze slows and deals 70 damage per second to nearby targets. I don't think it's that, like, I don't think Mei is really ever in that much like vicinity to her targets where I think this is gonna matter. I don't know. I don't think this one is great. 70 damage per second is a lot, though. I don't know. I don't know. My gut tells me that this one is probably a little underwhelming, but yeah, I think overall, though, her perks are good. They do have a lot to them, but I think it's one of the worst like design sets in the game. It's really passive value. It's really annoying. It doesn't really change how you play that much. It's not a lot of skill to it. I think it's not like, I don't know. I'm not a very big fan of the ones that they've come up with. I think they should bring back a chill equivalent or deep chill equivalent. Maybe not how they had it the first time, but she needs a mini game back, and I don't think it needs to be a passive. That's just me. Pharah, where is she? Pharah, drift thrusters can move while barrage is active. This one is much more relevant than I thought it was going to be. I thought Pharah was not going to be able, like, basically Pharah could just kind of like pop her head, kill something really quickly, and just leave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if she's out in the open, she's still gonna die. But like, there's a lot of situations where Pharah can just kind of like pop out of nowhere and then get around a corner, and she's perfectly fine. It is really good. Helix shields convert 75 health to shields. This allows Pharah to play a little deeper without support, which could be nice. But being able to get secured kills without getting yourself killed in barrage, I think is probably better. I think they're both still good. But I think Helix Shield is probably a little overrated. Concussive Blast knockback inside. I mean, like, super consistent. It does mess up your movement a little bit, but then it gives you more movement. Like, you can do different things with it. So, like, it could be interesting. I would say overall, like, it's just more powerful for killing, and it is powerful. Jet Dash grants 50% fuel, maximum overfuel is increased by 100%. So Pharah can stay in the air forever. Very, very, very good. Like, that's actually crazy. I think Pharah actually has like a really nice set of perks here. Now, how well designed I think they are. I think the minor perks are nice. I think the major perks, we have a problem. You mess up Pharah's movement, make her feel different, which is weird, and then you give her complete free flight, basically, if you use everything. And that is definitely not what we want, because that is extremely annoying. She can just play super far back. I don't like her major perks a lot. I'm gonna put her like here. Like, I think her minor perks are fine. I think those are cool, but her majors are really like where I think they've kind of gone a little too far and messed up a couple of things with her. Reaper. What does Reaper have? Dash Shadow Step reloads Hellfire shotguns and has 25% increased range. 25% increased range is really nice and lets you do more things with it. It lets you get more aggressive because you can escape better. Yada yada yada. I think that one is nice. It gives him more things to his game plan. Collect soul globes from dead enemies to restore 50% health. I don't understand why you would want this one. It's like you only get the health after death. Like, Reaper has plenty of lifesteal. I guess it allows him. It doesn't make him any better in duels. I don't know. It's probably fine. If it gave him overhealth, I think it'd be way better. But it's probably fine. I think these minor perks are okay. Dire triggers use secondary fire to fire a volley with long range accuracy. I don't know how good this is. I haven't actually taken this one yet. I've seen it. It looks fine, but it doesn't really increase his burst damage all that much if you use both of them. So it seems okay. But like, does Reaper really need any long range? Like, I don't know if it's really like actually doing much for him. And then leaving Wraith form grants 40% additional lifesteal. Now this one can actually be like, maybe you want to Wraith form early so you can get more of your health back. Maybe that'll get more like value out of it. Maybe you want to, Wraith form before your Death Blossom, so you get extra lifesteal during your Death Blossom. There's a lot to it. I think his perks are good. I think yeah, honestly, I'll keep him like here. How well designed they are. I think some of them give him more things to do, more thought process. I like them. I don't really like Soul Reaving. I'll keep them over here like Echo. I think they're okay. I think they're good overall. So that's fine. Soj. We want to talk about best sets in the game. Maximum ammo increased by 15 is really relevant for a charge character that builds charge off of ammo and a super fast firing weapon that increases her ammo capacity by 33%. Extremely good. Must pick in many scenarios nowadays. Overcharged gives her 150% energy, which lets her one-shot again with her rail in overclock. That is very good. I don't have to explain to you why. Dual thrusters increases her movement capacities by a lot in the middle of fights. This allows her to be super mobile and super survivable. It's very, very good. It also lets her get more aggressive and go for riskier plays. Adhesive Siphon increases her, what's it called? It increases her damage possible because she gets a rail back and she just gets like super insane value out of the, like, you get max value out of a disruptor, which is really, really good. It does a lot of damage. Sojourn's got an S tier, like all the way up there. How well designed I think are they? Well, they're definitely not as good as Sigma's. I think her majors are really fun. Like, I would say that like dual thrusters is really fun to use, and it is a trade-off because you don't have that vertical. And then Adhesive Siphon is also a trade-off because you don't have the, like, you potentially don't have the, like, corner holding possibility if it hits somebody. And apparently it does less damage overall. I'm not actually sure about that. I like them. I like those. So I'm going to get her a little over to the side here, but her minors are just like really quick, easy value that she doesn't have to think about as much. Overcharged to an extent. You do have to like make sure you get up to that 150, but overall not amazing. Gonna move on to Soldier. Helix rockets reload 15 ammo if they damage an enemy. This is not great. You want a Helix before you take an engage because you can take them off guard and then try to get the kill. You don't really want to, you're not really Helixing mid-fight as much where you would need that ammo. And it's only 15, which I actually don't know how many bullets Soldier has. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that great. I don't think it's how you should be playing Soldier overall. I don't think it's the DPS increase is as relevant. Emergency healing is good. Critical health allies, I assume that includes himself. So he just gets more healing if he goes super low, which is nice. Agility training is really, really good because it allows Soldier to be a functional character, which I think is very... He needs extra movement speed so he can actually be a mosquito and survive. So that's good. Stim Pack is cool in theory, but apparently you can't cleanse it. And yeah, I think just being able to have more speed and be like actually survivable is way better. So like, I think overall he's... I don't know. Honestly, I kind of want to just keep him like here. Like, they're fine. They're not bad, but they're not like great. And then how well designed they are. I don't think any of these really shake up his game plan. They're really, I mean, I like Stim Pack, but like they're really passive overall. I'd say like they're pretty underwhelming. Do better with Soldier. This guy's been left in the dust. He's very basic and they don't know what to do. Stim Pack is cool. Stim Pack is really cool, but like overall I think they're just very passive, right? And like being able to sprint while you're reloading, that's just a quality of life thing that Soldier for whatever reason still can't do. Sombra, everybody talks about how you should not pick a major perk with Sombra. Is that true? Let's find out. Virus's cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds when an enemy affected by virus is eliminated. This could be nice. It could be, and it lets Sombra kind of like get extra damage. You know, she can become a threat after she goes for an assassination or something like that. It could be really interesting. So I think this actually could be good. Teleporting translate care by critical health initiates passive health regen. It keeps her uptime up, which is nice. I think those are good. Like her minor perks, I think are good. Her major perks, hack can be used on allies to restore 100 health over 2 seconds. Allies can kind of get in the way sometimes. 100 health over 2 seconds is literally nothing. It's very basic. It puts hack on cooldown. It's not great. Probably not worth it. Stack overflow. Hack silence duration is increased by 100%, but its range is decreased by 30. This is not worth it. Yes, 2 seconds hacked is potentially lethal, but is that really going to matter? if you have to get that much closer and put yourself in the danger. I just don't think so. I think her perks are not good. Her majors are not great. I think her minors are okay. It's going to save her a little bit. But yeah, we'll put her here. How well designed I think they are. I think there's so much passive value here. Like I really don't like this set of them, TBH. Virus skin, I mean, the virus one is okay, sure. But yeah, just getting extra health when you escape at low health, I mean, that's okay. You were going to leave at low health anyways, typically. White hat just does not do anything. Stack overflow is just like really, I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't seem like it feels fun. So we're going to keep Sombra down here. Dude, Sims perks are good. An additional charge on Sentry Turret, I feel like, you know, like extra slow, extra damage, all of that. Very, very, very good. Advanced Teleportation, I think, is one of the best teamwork perks in the entire game. You can really utilize this, make Sim work on some maps where she wouldn't. Since it's a minor perk, you make her work pretty early. So I think that's really, really good. Primary Fire's range increase with each additional charge level is very scary, especially considering when she can build it easily off of a tank and then go TP to a backline to a safer position in the backline, but still get that super far range. It's really, really good. I think that this one can be abused a lot more than people are currently using it, and it allows him to not have to push past the tank in order to shoot the backline when she does have full charge. It's really, really good. Shield Battery regenerates 20 shields per second while within 10 meters of her teleporter. Allows her to go for riskier TPs that, you know, she can survive from. Really, really good. I think Sim, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and put this. Like, she's got an insane, like, thing of them. And I think they're really fun. I think they really are fun. You give up, like, it's about, like, the major is the classic damage or sustain, although I think they're really interesting choices that change how you play both of them. The advanced teleportation increases so many opportunities for Sim, and the sentry turret gains an additional charge. That's just boring. So it's not all the way, she didn't get to go all the way there, but I'm going to, like, sneak her between Ramattra and Ball. You can see her peeking over Hazard's head there. It's a really good set. I'm telling you guys, I think she has incredible perks. Torb, the Bjorn. Torb has good majors. I think his minors are a little underwhelming. Forge Hammer can restore armor health to allies is silly, whatever. It's not going to be super relevant. Turret's repair heal is increased by 25%. Torb shouldn't just be hammering his turret, especially with, you know, one of the major perks. There's no need for it. So I really wouldn't take this one. You should just be taking Overloaded because he has a really large clip that he gets to reload without having to, you know, and I think that's pretty relevant, just keeping his insane, like, DPS pressure up. Is it really that good? It's a reload perk. I don't think it is, but sure, whatever. His majors, I think, are, like, really, like, the, what's it called? The attaching the walls and ceilings. It's like, you can't, some characters can't break this. Like, on Tracer, for example, if a turret's on a regular spot, she would, in theory, be able to get over to it and be able to, like, one clip it or something. If it's on the wall, she has no opportunity like that. Like, there's actually nothing she can do about it. It actually, like, creates so much, like, less counterplay for characters. I think it needs to have its range decreased if it's on the wall, like, seriously. And then Overload upgrades your turret for 5 seconds. This actually makes it very lethal, and it's very fun to play with, trying to catch people and use your Overload in a situation that might not be just for your own survival. You could use it for damage a lot more often. His perks are good. I think the turret, and in fact, he has to go up here because I think his sticky turret is, like, is crazy. Overall, how well designed they are, I think there's, like, some anti-synergy with some of his perks that I don't really like. And I don't like his minors that much. I think they're pretty boring. His majors are interesting, but there's a lot of, like, less counterplay to them. So overall, I'll put him a little forward just because I like the idea behind his majors. But I think there's a couple of problems. I think it's just how Torb works as a character that makes me not, you know, love his implementation. Tracer. Health packs restore 1 blank charge. I did not know this. She does not need to be... She can be at full health and take a health pack and get a blink charge. That's really important. That's actually really good for stealing health packs, which can make her duels really interesting. So, like, that actually has more value to it than I initially thought. And then Blast from the Past, Pulse Bomb's radius is increased by 50%. That's just really nice passive value. Makes bomb more lethal, allows Tracer to do for safer bomb throws to get more value out of them, which is really, you know, she doesn't have to do like Hail Marys as much. She can just throw it on the ground and be like, you have to move or you're going to take a lethal amount of damage. Instead, you'll take 200 damage or something, and I'm going to come kill you anyways, which is really important. Flashback is potentially the best in the game. I don't need to explain that. It's just crazy. Recall grants 50 overhealth that decays over time. Still really good. You just, Flashback is so good you wouldn't take it. I think Tracer is like up here. I think the health back one is actually a lot more interesting than I give it credit for. The Pulse Bomb one is boring and just really passive. Flashback is just too much, but it's very fun. It's really interesting. Although it does get rid of like Tracer's blink management, which I think is a really big skill. And then the recall grants 50 overhealth. I think that's interesting and allows her to do much. I'm going to keep her in the middle. I think hers are fine. I wouldn't say they're like incredibly well designed, especially when you like remove some of that skill cap from her. But they're, you know, they're solid, and she's got really good ones overall. Venture, let me see here. While underground, Venture can sense enemies in 25 meters. Again, there are ways you could use this. You could find people. You can kind of like, I had somebody like kind of arguing that it's better routing for you. You don't, you know, I get it, but I still think that you should have a plan before you burrow. Like, you should know what you're doing before you burrow. Yes, it is like scouting. I don't know. Like, it's okay. I don't think it's absolutely worse in the game, but I think it is not as useful as it should be. The other one is really good. You get your abilities back during your ult. This actually increases your survivability because you get your shields back every time you use something, and it increases like, you know, the lethality of it because you can get to different angles and make it like really, like, you can kind of scare the enemy team a lot more. I think it's really, really good, really fun. Smart Excavator's range is increased by 24%. That's nice. It's a good, nice to have. Venture doesn't have to get as you know, up in your face to do a lot of damage, which is good. Covered in Dirt, I've been on record saying that I don't think this one is very good. It's like, I see these situations, sure, but like, I just don't think the reward is worth it for having it being a major perk overall. I would say that Ventures are underwhelming. Let me see if I can put them in a spot that's not going to cover. Yeah, we'll put them here. How well designed they are, overall, not great. I think the ult one is pretty fun, but the rest are pretty, like, you don't really change your play style that much. I don't know. I don't think I like their set. There's not like super interesting choices you have to make, I guess. It seems like there's some no-brainers as well most of the time, so I'm gonna keep Venture kind of near the bottom there. Widow, final DPS character here. An hour and 12 in. What time is it? 2:23. Okay, I need to get back to Monster Hunter. Come on. Scope efficiency. Scope shots cost 3 less ammo instead of 5. Just super passive, super boring. It's good. It's fine enough. It's okay. It's okay. Focus aim. Scope shots charge 50% faster during infrasight. That's not why you use infrasight. Like, trying to make a new use case for infrasight, it's just like, the second infrasight is hit, you all go hide. And if you try to use it aggressively, just to like find one pick, if you don't get it, everyone still hides, and then you've wasted infrasight. Like, even if you do get the pick, is it really like that worth it? Because you could have just gotten it otherwise. Like, does the 50% really matter? That you're still going to come from like nowhere and just try to surprise them. You're not going to come from main. You know what I mean? Doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem great. Scope shots hit reduced grappling hooks cooldown by up to 4 seconds. Now, up to is an interesting thing here. Probably scales with their charge, but like, you could in theory just like shoot tank twice before they dive you and then have your thing back. I think I overrated this when I heard about it first because I have not seen a Widow like effectively use this yet. So I don't think it's actually incredible, although I think it has the potential to be like you know, used or abused basically. The Venom Mine one grants 50% increased damage and a second charge, enabling 2 mines at a time. It's just annoying, but it's really good. I mean, like 50% more damage. What does that do? Like 112 or something? I don't know what the exact number is. That's a lot. And then that also puts you at like lethal range to like a lot more Widow shots. Like, it puts you in a lot scarier position against her. And having 2 mines at once basically you don't need escape plan if you can cover multiple flanks with your mines. I think that's actually really, really important. So widows are not good, I don't think. Her miners are not great, and she's really only got like one good like major. Are they well designed? Also, no, I don't think so. I think they're pretty underwhelming overall. Pretty passive or just kind of worthless, like really antithetical to what they're trying to do. Doesn't really open up a lot. Probably worse than Cass, TBH. Yeah, one of the worst sets in the game. Ana! So now we're finally on supports. Holy, I'm going crazy. Groggy is extremely good. You just get to sleep whoever was going to dive you. And basically you get 2 seconds more on sleep to escape. You know, it's super good self-peel, or you can really mess somebody up if you do it aggressively in a choke. Yeah, it's really, really good. And if you try to use a movement ability during your grogginess, you're not going to go as far, which is really, really relevant for certain characters, right? Biotic bounce after exploding. Biotic grenade bounces and explodes again for 50 damage and healing. Very fun. I don't know if it's as good as people think it is, because I think it's a lot harder to use, and it's a lot more situational with the map. I think Groggy is going to be the one you should pick most often, but obviously giving yourself an extra 50 damage or healing potentially is pretty good, or extending the range of anti, or really effectively the duration of anti in some regards could really, really be good. So not bad either. Headhunter, just giving her crit damage is nice. Ana is a sniper after all, so being able to do like what, 150, that's big. That's actually really big for Ana. So I would say that is good. And then Shrike, obviously nano boosting yourself. I think it's overrated a little bit, because if you're nano boosting like a Genji or a Winston, you're not doing what they do. They're probably going to be leaving a place where you're going to be able to help them that much. Obviously still good. Very good if you get dove. If your backline gets dove, I think that's extremely relevant. Like a Brig Ana nanoed backline is crazy. So I think it's more relevant in that situation. But obviously really good. Anas are good. I'm not going to put her super all the way up. How well designed are they? Bionade is really fun. And headshots are fun. But overall, like Groggy is just extra value. Shrike is really just extra value. You don't have to make a decision there. You always get it. I'm going to put hers a little like... I don't really like her set. Well, I mean, I'll put it here because, again, like the Bionade is nice. But like, I don't think it's actually like as interesting as some of the other like really good sets of perks. There's a lot, you know, and like Headhunter is a little boring. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people say. Bap. Immortality Field restores 80 health to nearby allies and 40 health to Baptiste when destroyed. I actually think this is more interesting than a lot of people give her credit for, because now you actually like are encouraged to lamp more like your teammates rather than yourself. You're using that one less for survivability. You're gonna have to think about how it relates with your other perk, because if you don't take that one and you take the assault burst, then you're like really losing on your survivability, right? So like there's interesting things you have to make there. Is it good? I think it actually is really good. Unless they're like anti, then I guess it isn't as good. But if you can keep the lamp up through the anti, then it will give them a burst. I don't know. I think it's nice. Automated healing. I was kind of sleeping on this one. I thought you should always take field medicine, but this actually does do a decent amount while you're amp matrixing, and it allows people to play with your amp matrix, and it allows you to play like forward up. Like you don't have to play behind everybody to like keep watch. You can play it more aggressively, and then your automated healing can keep the people around you who are also shooting through it up, so you can do more damage, right? So even though it is a sustain one, it enables you to do more damage, which I think is actually pretty good. Assault Burst doesn't give you the instant heal, but you get attack speed for 4 seconds. I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's as good as it should be. I say not enough. Maybe it should be like a second or two longer. That initial burst is really, really good. Like giving that up, I think is insane. So I actually don't think Assault Burst is worth it. And then Rocket Boots gives you a survivability tool. I don't think BAP needs it necessarily. Like it can be nice. But it's on a cooldown still. I don't know. It's fine. Overall strength-wise, I think these are good. There's not really like super downsides other than like assault burst. They're good. I'll put it like here, and then like how well designed they are. I mean, it's a lot of passive value on the minors, and then the majors. Like, rocket boots aren't even as fun as I think they should be, and the assault burst is fun, but it's not great. I'm gonna just barely put it like here. I think they're okay. I think they're fine. I like playing BAP just in general, so I like them, but like, and they feel good, but I don't know how well they actually are to each other. I think the minor perks kind of push it over the edge here. The major ones are a little, like, I don't know. The rocket boots are pretty boring overall, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think they're fine. I don't really have too much to say. Oops. Brig. Oh, I just pulled up my... Okay, hi. Brig. Okay. I've been on record saying that I think morale boost is overrated. It's not top 5 worst in the game. I want to make that clear. I know I put it in my video. As such, it's not. I think it's just a little overrated. Barrier restoration is okay. I think it's a little underrated, actually. I think it's fine. It's really good for checking flanks, and, you know, being the bully and having more effective health to be the bully is going to keep people off your backline. Like, that is, and it rewards skill. I think it's nice. Quick fix is crazy. It's one of the best perks in the entire game. Just getting extra health to critical health allies with repair packets, like instant. It's really, really, really important. Whiplash. Honestly, as I'm looking at these, dude, I don't think Brig's perks are great. Whiplash, I think, is really situational, and you probably don't want to use it that way most of the time. It just seems like an extra, and I don't think you should have a major perk that's just around being an extra. Are they fun? Not really. I think that, honestly, I like the barrier restoration the most. It's like skillful, and then Whiplash can be cool, but honestly, I don't think Brig has a really like interesting, nice set, so I'm gonna keep her down here. Illari. Rapid construction builds pylon faster and its cooldown is reduced. Basically, you get to have pylon. Pylon is more reactable, in theory. It doesn't give you extra, but in theory, you can throw it down more. And you get some cooldown reduction. It's fine. It's good. Illari's flight time during Captive Sun is increased by 3 seconds, and her flight speed is increased by 20%. This does allow Illari to get a little fancy with Sun, but one, do you want to be in the air that long? Maybe on some points. A lot of times it can be a death sentence. 2, again, like, does she really need the flight speed? Like, you don't want to get too far or you're going to get shot, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think it's actually that good. I think the pylon is way more consistent and easy to use. Solar power, fully charged solar rifle grants 12.5% of your maximum solar energy overfilling. You just get extra if you hit headshots. You get rewarded more for hitting headshots. It's good. I mean, Illari is a character that wants to kill things, so it's fine. Oh, you don't even have to hit headshots. And then Outburst ignites enemies, dealing additional stunning. I think this is actually really good. Getting a nice burn on people who are trying to dive you, it makes your duel easier. It can be good. I think Illari's perks overall are good. Like, they are good, but like, again, there's a lot of passive value. I think I'm gonna put her a little like here, maybe. The summer solstice is maybe like, it doesn't really change how she plays a lot. You know, I don't know. I don't really like them. I'm gonna put her like here. I think they're okay. I think overall they're good, but like, again, you don't change how you play Illari a lot with these. Yeah, I think I've said I haven't played much of her with these perks yet, so I don't have the most to say. Juno is very good. Pulsar Torpedoes is the best miner in the game, no question about it. Hyper Boost is actually underrated, although you should always just take Familiar Vitals. Meta Blaster can crit enemies. Juno is, like, it's really good for Juno to be able to crit enemies because she does a lot of damage overall. Reboots, activating Glide Boost, resets, double jump. Like, she doesn't have a great set, but she has some of the best in the game. Specifically her miner. So I'll put her like here. How well designed are they? Hyper Boost is fun. I think I'm going to put her like over here. Like, critting enemies is fun. The Hyper Boost is fun, but like, they're pretty boring. The Familiar Vitals is just really easy value. Like, I don't think it's great. I'm going to put her like, yeah, I'm going to keep her over here, I think. Kiri. I think both of Kiri's minors are really good. You've got the one that seeks critical health allies, which is really good for like when you're super spread out. You've got the one that you hit kunai, so you get some damage and more healing if you're like kind of grouped up together more. Shuffling is one of the best in the game, and Foxtrot is honestly a lot better than I give it credit for. I think 40% movement speed is no slouch, especially while you're Suzu'd, while you're invulnerable. I'm gonna put her like all the way up here, and honestly, I like them. I think they're fun. I think there's some good choices between how you get your extra healing, how you protect your team, or if you want to protect yourself. Honestly, I think, like, they're fun. I'm going to put Kiri, like, is it that good? I really like her minors. Like, I think her minor perks are really good. Maybe, like, the critical health allies is a little much. We'll put her, like, here. We'll put her there. I think that's a good compromise. Lifeweaver, he's got Cleansing Grasp, which is just a quality of life as a perk. It's not very good. Life Cycle just gives him 10 health per second. That's at all times. That's definitely much better. Rejuvenating Dash adds 20 to your next healing blossom. That's a lot of burst healing that I think, Lifeweaver does have to give something up to do it, but that can be really relevant. And then I've gone on record saying that I think Super Bloom is just not very good. It could be okay, but I think overall his perk set is pretty underwhelming and nothing that really... I think it's good. I think it's pretty bad overall. Nothing that moves the needle enough. Are they fun? Cleansing Grip it's just quality of life. Life Cycle is just really passive value. You just get healing per second at all times, which is really boring. Rejuvenating Dash, I think is like the life weaving, I think is fine. Super Bloom should be fun. I'm going to put them here. In theory, I think his majors make up for it, but his minors need a lot of work. So I'll put him a little on this side, but like, yeah, he needs some help in the minor department. Lucio, sound waves, knockback is increased by 15%. I wish this opened up more things for you to do with him, but it really just does everything that he did better, and it's really significant. It's really, really good. Regenerate 4 ammo per second wall riding. I think there's no reason for this. Lucio was not wall riding and firing to the point where he needs to reload ammo that often. If he's really firing a lot where it's going to be relevant that he needs to reload or he needs DPS, he's going to be like bomb rushing someone. And at that point, he doesn't need all that ammo, I'm pretty sure. So this one is not great in my opinion. Crossfade's range is increased. I didn't think this was that good, but it does mean that your team doesn't actually have to stack as much. So you can take better angles when you take an engage and kind of surround people. I think it could be really nice. And its Accelerando increases Lucio's attack speed by 50%, which is really, really good when he uses it. It's probably when you're using it and doing an engage anyways. I think Lucio's are good. I think they're pretty good. I think the knockback one is really, really important as well. How well designed are they? I think a lot of them are passive. I do like... Oh my god, you can't see him at all. I do like the Accelerando one, but the rest are not as interesting or just not as engaging overall. So Lucio's, unfortunately, I don't think are like super well designed. Mercy's are not good. Mercy receives 15 health per second while Caduceus' staff is attached to a full health ally. Why does she need that if she's doing a full health ally? She's taking less damage than the person that she's beaming. Ideally, she shouldn't even be in the scenario where she really needs this. Winged Reach, she doesn't need. She has Slingshot. She has no problems getting around the map. It is nice in some scenarios, but like just to get back to your team faster or whatever, but like it's really not necessary. Secondary Fire links to a second nearby ally. You should not be stacking 2 people with damage boost on one angle. It's not good. You should not be playing with your team, and stacking with your team is not good. You should not be encouraged to stack. I don't think the link is very good. I really don't. I understand you can potentially give 2 like damage boost to people, but I don't think it works out like you think it does with how Mercy and Mercy comps play. And then Flash Shield is the only one I think that could be good, but there is some really awkward like time between when it actually applies, which they'll probably take out. I like this one on paper a lot. It's not great. I think Mercy might have the worst set. It's really, well, there's another character. Mercy is a really bad set. Are they well designed? No. Why would you use Angelic Recovery? I don't think it changes her game plan at all. Winged Reese to just 30% more again. It's overkill. You don't need it. Secondary Fire links to nearby allies. I don't want more damage boost in my video game ever. No, thank you. And Flash Heal is fine. I think Flash Heal is a really cool idea in theory. We'll keep her here. I like the idea of having to use your really important res cooldown, burn it for, you know, like a burst healing option that Mercy doesn't have. I think that's really nice. I think that's something that's really interesting for her, and I hope that they improve that one and improve Mercy in general. But yeah, that one in particular. Moira might have the worst set in the game. Fade's duration is increased by 0.5 seconds. I've talked about this one. It's not good. You should not be hard flanking on Moira for most of it. Even if you are, you don't need the extra 0.5 seconds. You can still get out perfectly fine. She has auto aim. She has plenty of, you know, she's got okay range. It's fine. It takes her out of the fight longer, and she fades very often, so that adds up over time. And I think that's important. Fade's jump height is increased is niche. It could be nice, but why are you playing Moira on a map where there's super high ceiling or super high places? You should be playing her on flat maps and with rush comps and stuff. She's not a dive character. She's not good with it. At least like super dive, like vertical dive. She's not good with it. Even trying to increase that, I don't think would change that. It's nice in some situations, but it's not great. Biotic Orb's first 50 healing is instant. It's good because you actually get some burst healing, but it doesn't actually increase how much your Biotic Orb has. So like, if you burst heal 50 on 4 people at once, it instantly goes away. And like, that erases Moira's sustain plan that Biotic Orb actually is supposed to be. I don't think it's good. Like, I really don't think that's good at all. I really don't like that. I like it in theory, but the way that's implemented just doesn't work. And then Contamination, again, I don't think it's stacked with the DPS passive. It's more than the DPS passive, sure. And if Moira wants to take a duel by herself, she decreases the healing, but like, it seems redundant. It doesn't seem like you really need this, and they need to be touching the Bio Orb. If it was after like a couple seconds that they touched it, it stayed, that'd be one thing, but it actively having to be on them at all times just doesn't seem like it's going to work like you really want it to. And it's only 25%. So I think Moira probably has the worst set in the game. Are they well designed? They're fine. I think no, not really. I like the idea behind some. Actually, no, I'll give her that. I like the idea behind some of them. I just don't like the execution. So like, I'm not going to go put her all the way in the trench, but like, and there needs to be some changes here. Okay, finally, Zenyatta. Snap Kick's knockback distance is increased by 30%, which is very passive. It's fine. I think it's probably fine. I think he'll like that for certain matchups. Activate and hold double jump to hover for up to 3 seconds, which is only lateral. So that's a lot more map specific than I think it should be. It could be nice in certain points, especially on like defenses and stuff, but overall, I'm not so sure how good this one actually is, especially when you could take a defensive option. The next one, Secondary Fire, charges faster and can store 1 extra orb of destruction. This is just a straight up buff and increases his lethality at spamming. It is good. It is good. And then Duality, Zenyatta's heals Orbs of Harmony, Zenyatta heals Orb of Harmony targets for 20% of his damage dealt to Orb of Discord targets. Very interesting, very hard to set up properly, I think, and actually get a lot of value out of it. Like, I think there's so many more easy value to get from Zen. I think overall his perks are underwhelming. I mean, his focus destruction, no, I'll put him in the middle. Put him like right here with Junk. I forgot, his major perks are pretty good, in theory, if you can get Duality to work properly. Let me see here though. After that though, like how well I think they're designed, Zenith Kick is very passive value. Ascendance could be fun, and Duality I think could be fun. I'll give him barely up. You know what I mean? I'll barely put him here, but I think that Focus Destruction is very passive. Zenith Kick is very passive. I'm not so sure I like those as much. but they're fine. Okay. That's it. This is the final product here. And I'll throw myself over here so you can see it better. What do you guys think? Am I going off the wall? Basically just looking at this here, I think. I don't see much of a trend. Obviously, there's not many that are bad and well designed. I feel like that's really hard to do. And then maybe there are some that I'm just kind of like being a little biased towards, just because they are so bad. But there are definitely like sets that are good, but I don't think are like well designed. Like I think those are the ones that give you a lot of passive value that kind of stack into each other too hard. That aren't really interesting choices. But again, please let me know down below. But like and subscribe first, and join my membership if you want extra videos. Yada yada yada. I stream live twitch.tv/LaneHemingway. That's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and on YouTube here now. Gonna be playing this week, obviously, of course. All my links to everything are down below underneath this video in the description, with my Discord where you can keep up to date with all things Lane Hemingway. Okay, thank you guys for sticking with me with this one. I've got an Oscars showcase to watch. We're praying that Emilio Perez goes home empty-handed, although it won't. Okay, bye-bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.